All right, here we go. Lesson 6. This time with strategies. Estimate the value of Z. Estimate keyword Z. What does estimate mean? Estimate means come pretty close. Could also say educated guess. All right, gotta figure out Z. Okay, here's Z. Right here. So what is a good guess, or how could I come pretty close to estimating Z? It's pretty easy. You don't have to nail it, you just have to come close. So this looks, well, this is a 3, right? GH is 3. That was given. It's looking like GJ is a little bigger than GH. But GJ is a little bigger. And then I know JH is bigger than GJ because it's across the way from the 90-degree angle, which means this is the hypotenuse, HYPOTENUSE. Z is the hypotenuse. That's the longest leg of a right triangle. Leg, side. Longest side of a right triangle. Okay. It's bigger than this. It's much bigger than this. So if this is 3, this one's bigger. I don't know. 4 maybe for this one, and then this one's bigger than this. I don't know by how much. I'm gonna say Z equals 4.5. All right, that was number 1. That's all they said. Estimate the value of Z. So I did that. I came pretty close, I think. But you got to use your brain to come up with reasons why you estimate certain things. And you need to be able to write those things out, because I don't do verbal tests. So you're going to have to learn to write your reasoning out. You can't just be like, it's 4.5. Why? Why is it 4.5? Well, it's bigger than 3. It's bigger than this. And I think it's about 4.5 because of those reasons. All right. Use your calculator to determine the values of cosine 50, sine 50, and tan 50. Okay, let me go get a calculator. Okay, I got my calculator. Cosine 50, sine 50, tan 50. Let's switch to pencil. Might as well. Cos 50 equals. This is about the easiest problem you'll ever see. Cos 50 equals 0.64 Now this is a critical point right here. We got to get this third decimal place. You see a 0.6427, so you got to make sure that's a 3. Because anytime it's 5 or above, you got to round this one up. All right, cool. So 0.643. Let's go sin 50 equals sin 50 equals 0.766. 0.766. That's a 0. So that stays a 6. Let's do tan 50. What does that equal? Tan 50. Enter. 1.1917. So because that's a 7, that becomes a 2. So 1.192. All right, cool. Same thing. Cos 40, sin 50, tan 40. Let's mix it up. Why not? Throw some color in your life. Cosine 40 equals sin 40 equals tan 40 equals. This is what I call setting up your finish. So set up your finish. Set up your finish. You can do that in sports too, if you visualize things. All right, cos 40 equals. Might as well just switch to blue. 0.766. Sin 40 equals 0.6427, so that's a 3. Tan 40 equals 0.839. All right, 1 and 2 are done. Number 3, how do these values compare to your chart? Huh? Chart? What chart? This is taped to the front of your desk. Some might have the handout handy. I'm recording a video, FYI. You're on film. Okay. Just let you know. All right, so chart. Here's your chart. So there's your chart, right? So they are asking you to compare these values to your chart. So remember we got 50. Please don't write anything on there. Okay, thanks. Cosine 50. So here's the 50. 0.643, 0.643. 0.766, 0.766, 1.192, 1.192. 40, let's look at 40. Here's 40. 0.766, 0.766, 0.643, 0.643, 0.839. How do these values compare to this chart? They are the same. Wowzers. All right, I'll keep this handy. So basically, your chart's just always chilling right up here. Have it hanging down the front of your desk, just so you don't lose it. It's so important. A lot of people lose that one. All right, find the value of Z. Okie doke, here we go. Z, right here. Choose some color. Where'd my blue go? I had a good blue. Must have fallen. Red. All right, find the value of Z. Now, you could use 40 or 50. Either would work. You got to use one of the acute angles. Doesn't matter which one. I'm going to just use 40. Then we're going to use trigonometry. Trigonometry. Triangles, metry, measure. measuring triangles, trigonometry. I'm just winging it. I don't know if that's what it really technically means, but anyway, trigonometry pretty much is like measuring triangles. All right, 40. Let's take a look. The first thing you got to do is label ADJ, OPP, and hypo. ADJ, OPP, hypo. All right, so here we go. Easiest way to start is hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is always across from the 90. So Z is hypo. Hypo is across from the 90. Does not touch the 90. Next easiest is opposite. Remember, we're looking at this angle that I just colored in blue. Opposite's the next easiest. It doesn't touch this angle. This side is not touching this angle. So the 3 is opposite. Okay? So once you identify adjacent, opposite, hypo, this is ADJ. The next thing you do is you use two things. You use two sides. The given and the one you need to solve for. So 1, 2. You gotta use the given side and the one you need to solve for. The given side is 3. It's opposite. The one you need to solve for is Z, which is the hypo. So you need the opposite and the hypo in order to solve for the hypo, which is where you write your acronym. The acronym is SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. You need to memorize SOHCAHTOA. All right, now which of these three, SOHCAHTOA, includes the O and the H? Well, right here. There's the O and there's the H. So, you've chosen SO. Here's how you do the math. Just rewrite SO, just so you have a tool at your disposal. The S stands for sin or sine. There's an E at the end, but I just say sin sometimes just to not confuse you, and it's a little more fun. But sine of 40, remember your angle, equals opposite over hypo. And you'll see what I did here. There's opposite, and hopefully this yellow works, and hypo. So that's how you do the setup. Now, sin 40, we already know. We just did that. It's 0.643. If you want to do it again, go for it. Sin 40 equals 0.643. What's our opposite leg? Well, you go back to your diagram. Your opposite leg was 3. What's your hypo? Z. Now you've got a floating decimal right here. Floating decimal. Put a 1 underneath it. Cross multiply. Oh, my red broke. Oh well. We're going to go over here. 3 times 1 is 3. That will equal Z times 0.643. Write it down. Trust me. Your brain can only handle one thing at a time, typically. Unless you're like driving and listening to music. That's a good example. If the tasks are easy, you can do 2 things at once. If the tasks are kind of difficult, even in the slightest, you want to focus on one thing at a time. All right, now we've got this. We got to isolate Z because we're trying to solve for Z. So what you need to do is divide by whatever was multiplied by Z. And I'll show you why. If you divide both sides by the same number, then both sides of the equation will still remain equal. But this one then cancels, because any number divided by itself is 1. And 1 times z is z. 1 times 10 is 10, 1 times 5 is 5, you get the drift. So you're just left with z equals 3 divided by 0.643, and I encourage you to continue to write the steps and write down your thinking. It's the same concept in writing, like you write down your thinking. Do the same thing in math. Now, we're so close here. This is about to be done. Z equals 3 divided by 0.643 equals 4.6656. So let's call z 4.666. Why am I doing 3 decimal places? Well, so as not to confuse you, because I want 3 decimal places on your trig ratios. Please, 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 just like the table. I don't make the rules, I just follow them. All right, there you go. Z equals 4.666. Let's look at my estimate. 4.5. I mean, I've taught this lesson a bunch of times, so kind of had an advantage. All right, here we go. Solve for x. Okay, there's x. Let's color in our angle. Use some color. Get some color in your life. The world is a colorful and beautiful place. So should your math work be. Just kidding. All right. 17 degrees. All right, cool. So we got this angle that's given. We got this side that's given. And we got to solve for x. I'm going to teach you something. If you have an acute angle and a side in a right triangle, you can do everything. So I now know I can solve for everything. I can get that side, I can get that side, I can get that angle. All I need is one acute angle and one side. Acute is less than 90. There's 2 of them in every right triangle. So one acute angle, one side. You can solve for everything. These are right triangles. If you had 2 sides, you could solve for everything also. So in a right triangle, if you have one acute and one side, one side, you're good. You can solve for everything. Can solve for all missing. Pretty cool. 2 sides would be the same scenario. So, all right, anyways, getting a little wordy. Across from the 90, x is hypo. 10 is ADJ because it touches this angle. So you're looking for which one has the A and the H. Well, AH, we want cosine. So you're going to say cos 17. And this step I do want you to rewrite ADJ over hypo, just to clean up your work a little bit. Cos 17 equals 0.956. So 0.956 equals, what is ADJ? 10. What's hypo? X. Floating decimal, 1. Cross multiply. X, or actually 10 times 1 is 10, equals x times 0.956. Next up, divide by whatever we multiplied x by. Make sure you do it to both sides. These are out of here. X equals 10 divided by 0.956. 10 divided by 0.956 equals 10.46. That would be sufficient to get full credit. So x equals 10.46. There it is on the diagram. Always a good idea. Okay, let's switch gears. We're doing y now. So we got to solve for y. This one is kind of cool. You can choose either of these two to use, but first you have to make a proof that this is 90. Because you can't just go willy-nilly into any triangle. You can only use trig for now for right triangles. So right triangles. SOHCAHTOA is right triangles. Right triangles, got a right angle. Now, why is this 90? Because these two add up to 90, and all three add up to 180. So 90 plus 42 plus 48 will equal 180. That's the triangle sum theorem. Triangle sum theorem. They all add up to 180. Okay, so let's go 42. Oh, my red, almost forgot. Gotta sharpen that puppy. All right, so we're gonna use 42 to find y, and remember you have a given side here. So you always want to use the given side and this one you need to solve for. 1, 2. Given side, the one you need to solve for. So let's label these. Across from the 90 is the hypo. We got to solve for y. That touches this angle. So we're going to call that ADJ. Next up, SOHCAHTOA. H, A, need ka. So let's work down here a little bit. So you're gonna say cos 42. That's why I color in these angles so I can make quick decisions. Equals adjacent over hypo. Why did I write that? So I can give my brain a little bit of a break. Cos 42 is 0.743. Adjacent leg is y. Hypo is 7. Floating decimal, throw a 1. Cross multiply. Y times 1 is y. It'll equal 7 times 0.743. If I ever have a decimal, I use the big star for my multiplication symbol, just so I don't confuse things. So 0.743, if it's on the calculator, you can just hit times and it'll keep this 0.743 there for you. 5.2020137778, let's just call it 5.2. So y equals 5.2, done and done, boom. Y, 5.2. You are done solving for y. You can move on. That's why I love math. You just solve it, move on. All right, number 3, and then we'll call it. Bell's about to ring. Find all the missing sides. All. You have to get all the missing sides and the angle measures of what figure? Oh, they don't give you one. Shoot. That's tough. It's okay, I'll give you a tip. All right, so the measure of angle X is 90 degrees. Might want to even just compartmentalize this statement there. So measure of angle X is 90 degrees. Okay. So I've got a right angle. I'm just tracing on the back of this. So use little tricks. So I go like that. Boom. X. Okay. Measure of angle X is 90 degrees. Angle Y is 12 degrees. Okay. So I know I'm going to have a 12 and a 78, meaning I'm going to have a pretty big angle. So let me just extend a big angle and a sharp angle. because 12 is fairly small when we're thinking about right triangles. I should have used a straight edge, that would have been better. It's okay. This is my estimate. Doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, technically, I would like you to be as close as you can. You could have gotten a protractor, but in the interest of time, we're gonna call this Y, and then we're gonna label it. In fact, we're gonna color it in too. Yeah, red's still working, as long as I use the right angle of the pencil. Anyways, this is 12 degrees. Okay? Side XZ has a length 2 centimeters. You're like, XZ, where's XZ? Well, you gotta draw it. There's XZ. Length 2 centimeters. You gotta find all. So what's missing? ZY is missing. So ZY equals angle Z is missing. So you need that. And then XY is also missing. This is called setting up your finish. Use color, makes it more fun. All right, let's start labeling sides. Our angle is colored in for a reason, so we can focus on it. The 2 is opposite, because it does not touch the angle. This is hypo, and this is ADJ. All right, so to find opposite, or sorry, we have opposite. To find adjacent, you're gonna use the side you're given and the side you need to solve for. So, O and A is TOA, so you're gonna say tan 12 equals 2 divided by XY. We're gonna cross multiply, XY tan 12 equals 2, XY equals 2 divided by tan 12, XY equals 2 divided by tan 12, enter, 9.4. So this is 9.4. Now we've got 9.4 squared plus 2 squared equals ZY squared. I gotta go. Pythagorean right here. To solve this, this is 78. Adios.